Hi everyone, and welcome to the Allplane Podcast, where I talk with the innovators and entrepreneurs that are transforming the aviation industry. First of all, the usual reminder that you can find all previous episodes of this podcast, as well as many other aviation stories, on our website, Allplane.tv. That's ALLPLANE.tv. Now, let me start with a question today. What were you doing when you were 22? Well, Danielle Gillam, our guest today, is busy building an electric aircraft. She's doing so together with a team of fellow students at the Technical University of Eindhoven in the Netherlands. The project is called Falcon Electric Aviation, and they are developing an electric powertrain to retrofit light aircraft of the sort that is used at flight schools, starting with a Cessna 150 that they are using as a test bank and which they expect to fly soon on electric power. What makes of Falcon such an interesting project is that it is entirely student-led and student-made. So without further ado, let me introduce Danielle to the podcast so that she can share some insights about this fascinating initiative. Hi Danny, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good, thanks. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for joining us from Zimbabwe, where you are based at the moment.
Yes, very far away.
Although the project we are going to talk about today is actually based in the Netherlands, in a city in the south of the Netherlands called Eindhoven. And that's where you are the project manager of a very interesting student-led project called Falcon, the Falcon Electric Aircraft that is being developed at the Technical University of Eindhoven. So before we get into this topic in more detail, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your role in this project, and also about what is the Technical University Eindhoven, basically why you guys are working on this project?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start off by telling you a bit about myself. So yeah, I'm 23 years old and I just recently finished my bachelor's at the Eindhoven University of Technology, and waiting for my master's to start in September. I decided to come home to Zimbabwe while I had the opportunity. Also very good opportunity while everything is online during COVID, so I can still do all my work for Falcon even halfway across the world, so that's great. And I'm actually here working on getting my light sport aircraft pilot's license, which is very fun, very interesting. And my role in the team is a team manager or project manager. And what I do is basically just look over the whole process of the project, make sure everyone's happy in the team, also do things like this, get in contact with the media, and just try get Falcon's name out there. And I'll call it the TUE, Eindhoven University of Technology for short. So the TUE's got a really great system that they've got where basically anyone who has a great idea can approach the university and start up a student team or a project team of some kind. And we get a lot of support from the university, not just with funding, but also with all of their facilities. So it's just a really great incubator for these ideas, and a lot of them are really based around sustainability, which is really cool.
Did you start the project? So you came up with this idea that, well, we should do an electric plane, and then you approached the university with this idea, or how did it work?
No, not myself. There was one board previously, so we are now in the second rotation of the board of the team. But yeah, there were a couple of guys who just had this really great idea, very passionate about flying, about sustainability. They approached the university and the university said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And that's basically how Falcon was born. And that was in 2019. So yeah, we're still quite a young team.
And you've got a team, I read on your website, you are 15 students that are working on this project. I imagine there's some, well, I guess there's some rotation, as you mentioned. There are some like students come and go, but the project continues. Well, first of all, let's start by the very basics. What are you guys trying to do? You're trying to retrofit a Cessna aircraft with an electric powertrain and based on battery powered. And you're calling it the Falcon Electric Aircraft.
Yeah, Falcon Electric Aviation. So this is our first project, is converting a Cessna 150. And the reason that we chose the Cessna 150 is because we're really aiming towards flight training schools. The reason we chose this domain really is because, first of all, flight training produces a lot of carbon dioxide. Of course, it's a very necessary part of aviation. So we thought it would be a really good place to start. And on top of that, it's, of course, as I'm sure you know, electric aviation is also much cheaper to run in terms of both maintenance and fuel. We don't have to pay for fuel, so that's great. And also with the limitations of current battery technology, the flights are not very long. So we thought, wow, this is a really great place to start. You know, you can't really make commercial flights electric at the moment. So these short flights are great. And also you don't really need more than 2 seats for training purposes. So the lighter the aircraft, the better when it comes to electric aviation. So yeah, that's really why we're focusing on flight schools, and in particular the Cessna 150, because it's a really, really common training aircraft. So yeah.
And this project, you are actually building the thing. So it's not just a theoretical project. So you are actually getting their hands dirty with parts and components and building the electric powertrain.
Yeah.
And
yes.
fiddling with the engine and the aircraft. Where did you get the aircraft, by the way? Because
it came from the UK.
Okay, it sounds easier said than done. I mean, it's not like a small thing to get, like a computer or something. I mean, you can get an airplane and get an airplane that you can fiddle with and manipulate and do stuff with it.
Yeah, exactly. So we get a lot of help from our partner, Kempen Airport. They've been really great. They are keeping the plane in one of their hangars for us, and they really help with any questions we have and maintenance and things like that. So yeah, they've been had a huge impact on the project, and without them, I think we wouldn't really. Of course, you can't just keep a plane, you know, in a house or something. So yeah, it's been really nice to have them as a partner. And yeah, the plane came from the UK, and so we've got a technical team that's made up of both electrical and mechanical engineers, and they very much do all the hands-on work. Of course, if they ever need help, there are professionals around that can help them if they have a question or two, but it's very much a student-led and student-made project, which is really cool.
And is it you're operating under you're incorporated as a company, or is it part of that university department? What sort of structure did you choose for this project? Because I guess there is also a financial side to it. I mean,
yeah,
you need.
So
yeah.
So we're a foundation. So yeah, we're not for profit. Of course, we're not aiming to make a profit out of this project. It's more just like, we're really passionate, and hopefully maybe one day it'll turn into something else. But for now, it's really just a proof of concept. Hey, look, if a bunch of students can do this, really anyone can. So yeah.
And how much of what you're doing is proprietary technology? I mean, what parts are you designing and building yourselves, and which parts are you getting from someone else?
So the whole design is our own, and all the calculations and everything, but we of course outsource, for example, the electric motor, the batteries, things like that, the inverter, but the way that everything is connected and placed, of course the batteries have to be placed very carefully for the center of gravity of the plane. All of this is done by our own technical team. Yeah.
Is this a foundation that was created on purpose for this project? Who is funding it? Is it the university is funding? I imagine it's a pretty lean operation, but still, I mean, you have the plane, and I guess you have some investment here, and I guess you need to get the batteries and some parts and components and all of that.
So we do get a yearly budget from the university, which helps us out a lot. And then we're very heavily based on either subsidies or partnerships, sponsors, investors. So yeah, we're always actively looking for investors or sponsors to help us out because yeah, of course, as students, we don't really have the means to fund this ourselves.
Mm-hmm. One question I had is at what stage are you with this project? Do you already have like a working prototype, and what are the next steps? I mean, what is the time frame for the project? I mean, is it something that you then expect to turn into some sort of commercial venture? What's the plan here? What's the end goal?
Yeah, so I guess our ultimate goal is to create these custom electric conversion kits for already existing aircraft. But I think that's a very, very long-term goal. This is our first project, and we had a couple of issues, of course, because of COVID. We couldn't really go in and test the components and work on the plane in person. So that's really put a bit of time between where we really wanted to get going. But yeah, so I wouldn't really want to give an exact date of when we're expecting to be finished because it's just a bit too uncertain at the moment. But right now we have got, of course, the plane. We've got the Cessna 150. We have the electric motor, we have the inverter, and we're currently redesigning the engine mount. Of course, it's going to be very different now with the electric motor. So that will be going in for testing soon. And now that things are starting to open up a bit more, we can also do much more tests of the components, which is of course really necessary before any taxiing or flying happens. But we're at a bit of a standstill at the moment because our biggest issue is trying to find batteries. Of course, the batteries are the most important and also the most expensive part of this whole project. So we've been really looking around for some battery companies that have all the certifications that we need because safety is also our number one priority. So yeah, while all the testing of the other components are going on, we are always looking for battery companies or also funds to purchase the batteries. So that's kind of the status of the project at the moment.
What's the cost of a battery of this sort that you're looking for?
I'd say around 60,000 euros. Yeah, in that range, 60 to 80,000 euros. Yeah.
And that, I guess, has to be replaced after a certain number of cycles?
Exactly, yeah. So right now we're just really wanting to prove our concept with the first project, and hopefully once our concept has been proved, hey, look guys, this plane works, it can taxi, it can fly, then hopefully a lot more funding will come in and we'll be able to expand both with aircraft batteries and all of those types of things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is the differential factor that you are adding in? Is it in the way in which all of this is combined and fitted into the aircraft? What are the main points basically that you're focusing your attention on at the moment?
Do you mean in terms of the project or in terms of how we place ourselves?
No, the project. What are the main challenges? I mean, is it the way in which you combine the battery and the motor and how it fits into a certain type of aircraft? What are the main technical challenges?
Yeah, so of course, one of the biggest challenges we face is weight because the batteries are quite heavy. We need 14 of these batteries. 48-volt batteries, so they are quite heavy, and of course you need to distribute that weight really well in order to maintain the center of gravity, as I already mentioned. So these are all just very small things that our technical team are always working on, trying to figure out, okay, where should we put them, how many do we need, and then we also are working on having a remote diagnostics system so that you can actually gather data from the plane when it's in the sky or from a distance, you know. Of course, these are very specific fields. So we really have to try and gain the knowledge and find the right people to help us out with these things. But yeah, I think our technical team is doing a great job.
You mentioned this is mainly for flight training. And
yeah.
Do you have a commercial plan? You mentioned the kits, so you want to be able to create these conversion kits for the aircraft. I'm just wondering what's a commercial model here? Is it to retrofit existing planes that are now operated by flight schools? or is it something you plan to do yourselves? Is this successful, or is it something that you would sell to the flight schools or to the MRO companies these flight schools are working with, and they would then do it themselves? I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know how complex it is to retrofit an aircraft with this type of technology.
Yeah. So as I said, we aren't really focusing on the commercial aspect just yet because we are a student team. So the profit side is a very long-term goal. But of course, I think our goal is to do the analysis on whichever plane that they have. And I don't know if it would be feasible to really send our team to the flight schools and insert all of the components ourselves. But yeah, I'd say we would set up a conversion kit for them, and maybe they would have to do the fitting themselves. But of course, you never know. We're a small team at the moment, and maybe in the future, if we expand, maybe we could also have a team of maintenance people who would go there and actually fit the planes with these kits. Yeah.
And in terms of performance, what are you aiming for in terms of range, and how you expect this to evolve in the near future? We are seeing now, actually, the flight training market, it's actually one of the entry points for electric aviation. I had here in the podcast, for example, people from Switzerland, from Slovenia that are working also in this market, because they say, well, now you can extract maybe 1 hour flights that are around 1 point, so you are always getting back to base. How would you expect your technology to perform? Are there specific parameters now that you have in mind, or you're still working on this?
Yeah, so according to our calculation, as you just mentioned, the flight time is around 1 hour, and it would be mostly based on circuit training, because of course you need to always be close to base if your flight time is quite short, 1 hour. But this is usually the time that a flight training session lasts. So yeah, that's really what pushed us also towards flight training is, okay, well, we can do this, but the range isn't very big. So we have to pick a domain where this fits well. Yeah, we also maybe considered agricultural flights like crop dusting and things like that, where those flights don't have to be too long, and are also not long distance, very close to one point. So that could also be another place where we could maybe in the future expand into.
Are you doing the first flight anytime soon, or is there a specific date for that?
Yeah, we still are working on a lot of the regulations and the permit to fly, things like that. We need to do a lot of testing before we get this permit to fly. So we are planning, as soon as we have the batteries and all of the components into the plane, we will organize a run-up event, which will basically be taxiing the plane. So it'll be before we get the permit to fly, just doing a small taxi event for our partners and for people to really see the plane in action before it can fly. So that hopefully will happen in the near future. But again, I don't want to give any dates because it's still really uncertain.
And this is going to be, I guess, at Kempen Airport?
Yes, that's right.
Which is, I had to look it in the map. I've seen it's right south of Eindhoven. It's very close, and it's very close to the Dutch-Belgian border, basically. Right?
Yes, right. It's in a place called Boedel. It's around 30 minutes from Eindhoven.
And I guess you need to get this authorization from EASA, from the European regulator?
Yes.
And it's an experimental approval. It's an approval to do experimental flights.
Yeah.
That's the first step to get it up in the air.
Very well. Exactly. So we'll have to do a lot of testing in order to show them that our components are safe, that they work how they're supposed to. And from there, slowly but surely, we will get this permit to fly, hopefully.
If people want to learn more about the project, Falcon Electric Aviation, where should they go? Where are you guys active and showing your work?
Yeah, so they can visit our website, which is falconea.nl, or any of our social media, which you can find through the website. We have Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all of those things. And we are always posting small updates, whether it be new team members or new components that we got or new partnerships. So yeah.
So I'm going to add some links to the show notes, so that people can find it easily and then can follow this very exciting project. And well, for me, it's just left to say, wishing you all the best with the next steps in this project. It's been a real pleasure learning more about Falcon Electric Aviation Project. And yeah, we'll be following up with the news and hope to see it up in the air soon.
Yes, and thank you again so much for having me. It was a really nice opportunity to talk about Falcon and electric aviation in general. And yeah, follow us for updates, definitely.
Thank you, Dani.
Thank you so much.
Before you go, and if you like this podcast, a quick reminder that it would be absolutely great if you could please give it a rating on Apple, Spotify, or whichever platform you're using, or recommend it to a friend or whomever might be interested. Thank you very much, and see you soon.